All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, coming off of a couple great Impact tapings over at Don Kolov Arena. We're out in Mississauga here, and I'm joined by Matt Stryker. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's great. It's always good to be up in Canada. They have said I'm an honorary Canadian because I'm a huge Rush fan, and I played hockey growing up, so there you go.
And I saw that thing you put up about like folding up the passports and stuff like that. You got that from Tommy Dreamer. I understand that little trait, right?
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer has this really sadomasochistic thing about he can fold anything and make a corner out of it, a point out of it, and he says you can use this as a weapon. And my response is, what happened in your life that you need to think of ways to fold up pieces of paper to hurt people? And he goes, bro, ECW. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You know, I thought that was kind of serendipitous, though. I have a buddy named Justin McSherry who folds things into sharp corners, and Tommy Dreamer is actually one of his favorite wrestlers. I tagged him in the tweet. I'm like, bro, look at this.
Tremendous. Hey, listen, you never know who you inspire. So there you go.
Yeah, and it seems like you're kind of like a renaissance man, like all over these different promotions and stuff like that. For people who aren't aware, what is your present role within Impact Wrestling? How do you, I guess, like lend your insights to the product?
Oh, they brought me on in different capacities as a consultant or as a producer, but tonight I was directing and calling all the camera stuff and working with the camera guys and stuff, and it's something that I've done in some other major promotions that I don't know if we're allowed to name, but it's just great to graduate. Being an athlete is one thing, and I used to be a school teacher, but learning different things, learn how to referee, learn how to produce, learn how to film a video or a pre-tape or edit, and in this case, learn how to direct and sit in a production truck. It's something that I think can take you very far, and whatever it is that you're doing, don't be satisfied with whatever it is that you're doing.
Is there some level of nerves that underpin that, or are you just like so excited and you just want to get into the minutia of pro wrestling and figure out the different facets?
Nerves kind of have fallen by the wayside for me. It's more just, it reminds me that I'm alive. This isn't for everybody, but I'm a faith guy, and in the scriptures I read, do not worry about what you will say, for when the time comes, it will be put into your heart and mind what to say. And the same thing applies for what to do. The worst thing you can do is mess up. That's the worst thing you can do, and it's a learning experience. So nerves, no, but I guess just boyish excitement, yes.
That's a great attitude, and it seems like Impact Wrestling is a cool promotion, like trying to do some different things. Like I noticed that intergender wrestling is a big fast and has been getting some good reactions and stuff like that. Do you think that's going to become more of a fixture on a wide scale, or do you think there's going to be a bit of that adjustment period, or maybe just not at all on certain shows?
Well, you can see how people follow trends. So when Lucha Underground was around, they were doing the intergender stuff, and then all of a sudden other people started to jump onto it, and then Lucha Underground went away, and then WWE kind of, sort of, but the way Impact is doing it, they do it in a very classy way, because if you think about it, in this day and age, it's just athletes. It's not man or woman. Just because you're XY chromosome doesn't mean you're any less of an athlete or any better. So I just think instead of going with intergender, athlete. I think that's the term that we should use across the board.
Yeah, I find it personally weird that they don't like mix it up a little bit more, because like to your point, in Lucha Underground they did that a bit with certain talent like Sexy Star and stuff like that, and there with Marty the Moth, and I thought it came off great.
Yeah, and if it's done right, and you're not really bastardizing it, and you're not insulting anyone, and again, if you just address it as an athlete. Look, I grew up with 4 sisters, and they all kicked my tail. And I'm a professional wrestler, and I play hockey and whatever. And they are tough, strong women. So when I hear people say, oh, empower women, I've only known empowered women. So I think if you remove the gender bias or the color bias or the sexuality or the religion, you're an athlete competing in the same sport I am. So why shouldn't we compete against each other? If it's a weight class thing, that's fine. But outside of that, the chromosomal differences should not impede us having the match that we should have.
And with talents like Tessa Blanchard, it just comes off so effortless too.
Yeah, you go tell Tessa that she can't, play with the boys or play with, and the beautiful thing about a talent like Tessa and a talent like Taya and Jessica Havoc and Madison Rain is the minute the bell rings, you kind of forget that there's a difference or that they're women and I'm a man. You just see them as athletes, and I keep pounding that home because I used to be a school teacher, and I used to tell my students that if the world was blind, think about how we'd live. Don't see with your eyes, see with your heart. It's easier said than done because we have these prejudices pushed into us. But if we just take a step back and go, human being, athlete, person, feelings, then I think we can all find a common ground.
Yeah, you're definitely speaking my language. I definitely never had that aggro perception of like, oh, was a girl wrestling a guy? But I mean, I guess some people do. But you kind of said something I thought was interesting. You said when Lucha Underground was around. Have you gotten any kind of word that it's not keeping going? There's no more seasons? Or
No. I'm not at liberty to say too much, but I do know that there was a shopping for a new home. And if they can find the new home, then we are going to furnish that home with some things you've never seen before. So keep your fingers crossed. Lucha Underground may not be done just yet.
So we're looking for a third temple, is what you're saying?
Something along those lines. And again, back to Scripture, I think they say that once that second or third temple is built, that's when the Messiah is coming. So I don't know.
Hopefully it's not Paul London and the White Rabbit tribe or something like that. You never know, though, I guess.
Stranger things have happened.
But yeah, is there anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, man? I don't want to take up your whole night here. You probably want to go off and do something else.
Oh, I appreciate it. Look, you got to remember, for me, I'm just a kid from Queens, New York that everyone told you're never going to make it. What are you doing? Why are you bothering with that wacky wrestling stuff? But it was my dad that told me to follow my dreams, and that encouragement allowed me to do it. He said, listen, get your teaching degree, because if by chance you don't become Hulk Hogan, at least you can eat. So I think the thing that people should take away from this is that there's always going to be people out there that are going to try to dissuade you and bring you down. Don't do it to yourself. So many of us go, I stink. Oh, I shouldn't try. Screw that. Try. Someone out there is going to try to cut your legs out from under you. Don't be the person that does it. You have no idea what's possible. So give it a shot.
It's a great sentiment, and I think a great way to end things off. Appreciate the time, Matt, and hope you enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys, and Rush is the greatest band in the world.